Hey, Arcturus here. Today we're looking at Rocket's Warbird versus Ronan from LEGO Marvel. This is a smaller set with only 290 pieces. Comes with two minifigures, both Rocket and Ronan, and builds a pretty cool small ship. It kind of reminded me of a smaller version of the Milano. It's not exactly a 1-to-1, which is their big ship, which I had looked at getting but decided it was just too large for me to pick up. So I went with the smaller one instead. I think it's pretty cool. It does have a little stud launcher that I haven't seen before, as well as the more traditional bolt launchers that just sit right up here, which I will load real quick. We'll move Ronan out of the way. I do think the bolts stick out a little far. It'd be nice if there was something to cover them a little bit or something. Maybe this was lower, so it was underneath this, but I think it works a-okay for a set of this size. It's a pretty simple build. There's not really a ton of moving parts to it. You do get these two launchers up here, some nice blue engines here for the thrusters on both sides, as well as these two large cannons on the base there. Most of the build is this center cockpit section, which does have room for Rocket to stand on. Because he does have the shorter legs, they make use of this more simple section. I'll show him in there momentarily. I thought these launchers were relatively interesting because I haven't seen this type before, where they launch from this sort of Gatling gun-like section, which I thought was pretty cool. Although, of course, I'm now worried I will lose them. It doesn't turn super easily. It does take a good amount of pressure compared to these bolt launchers to fire these off. But it's a fun little set. There weren't any stickers in it, which is always nice. It does make use of the pretty standard computer piece in there. Just a pretty small, reasonably sized playset for anyone who's interested in this sort of LEGO Marvel set. Or in spaceships in general. It should be pretty good. Then we have Rocket himself with some nice detail there. You build him a little blaster here, just from a typical like gun piece, along with this brown topper, which works pretty well. He does have a tail piece, and this very detailed back, which we'll remove there for a second. Just some very nice detail printed there on the back, and then his front, which looks relatively accurate to the movies, although I don't know precisely. You can put his tail in backwards, but then he won't stand up because his legs are too short, because he does make use of the half leg. That's pretty common. I thought the head print was pretty good as well. So that's Rocket. Then you also get Ronan, who is much more of a drab figure. You get his big hammer, which I'll take off for a second here. Blue hands, which is always nice. And some very nice details there in gray, from foot printing all the way up to through the head. No arm printing on this one, but this very nice hood piece that's pretty common, at least in Harry Potter and some of the other sets. And then you get his face print here. I think he does need the hood because you do have this sort of outline section for his head, which I don't think would look good just like this. So this looks a little odd. And then he does have some very nice back printing as well, very similar to the front of the torso. I did like his cape piece. It's cut into these four streamers, which is different from the standard cape piece. So I think it looks pretty nice. So that's Ronan. This was a nice small set. Again, I picked this one up instead of the larger Milano ship, just partly due to size, but also I like Marvel, but I haven't really paid a ton of attention to it since the Endgame movie, or Infinity War and Endgame movies. So, it was nice to see a smaller set for it. Well, that's all I have for today. I will catch you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave me a comment down below your thoughts on this LEGO set.